Hey guys, this is Laundry 112. Okay. I'm standing here today to warn you. If you are ever to buy a candy product, especially washing machines or washer dryers, go to a showroom, okay? The reason why is this. Single-handedly, I am doing virtually nothing. This machine is built to take 10 kilograms of laundry at 1,400 RPM. It weighs 69 kilograms. It is absolutely atrocious. Look, I actually own right now 4 vintage machines. 3 of them are hot points. 1 is a Whirlpool. It does have a timer failure. Okay. So, in all of my 3 vintage machines, I have done that. I could barely move that in a drum. I could barely move the drum with my hand. Okay, so you sort of push it diagonally. I can move this so easily, I just act like its suspension doesn't exist. Okay? It's a piece of crap. It uses virtually no water. Oh, also, you're always getting white spots. You can see them. You see? Little white spots. They're the most annoying little things. And when I put it on the crappy Smart Touch cycle, I'm better off putting it on the whites program and just adding a shit ton of extra water. This thing is absolutely atrocious. And also, watch. So, level 3 is 3 hours 51 minutes. I press extra rinse, it goes to 4 hours and 1. I take off the extra rinse, it goes back to 3 hours 51. But, if I add the extra rinse and take down levels, level 2, level 3, oh, it doesn't work on this one. They have had programming glitches. But the worst thing is the Smart Touch feature, because I was wanting to do a pre-wash on a 90-degree cycle. I don't have the option. So I was looking around in my Smart Touch app to see if I could get one. It only goes up to 60 degrees, which is ridiculous. Also, the inlet valves are so terrible, and this isn't my water pressure, because my Zanussi ZWC 1301, which, by the way, probably costs about £100 more than this, can take absolutely everything. Honestly, I can fill this compartment, this main wash compartment, all the way up, probably twice in one fill cycle, and it will still take everything, apart from the eco programs, which is obviously perfectly fine. But with this thing, I can put virtually nothing in there and it will not take any of it. Or if it does take any of it, it will leave a massive amount. Also, the fabric softener compartment sucks because it leaves everything in there. It virtually doesn't touch it. Inlet design. Look, anybody considering buying one of these, I advise you either go to a showroom and have a look at some real machines, or you smash one of these, or somebody please throw a brick in one of these. These modern ones just make me feel better. For God's sake, I regret this. I regret this purchase, and I regret thinking candy was a good idea. I do want to go with Hoover. I'm still not sure. The Hotpoint 9544W is coming in here. Just when I've fitted a few more things. I've also fitted a new front plate so it doesn't leak anymore, I hope. And some new shock absorbers so it doesn't bounce around. During the shock absorber fitting though, the quadruple switch for the buttons. Two of the stalks. The top one was already brittle and was about to snap off. That's why I was looking for one. But last night, all hell broke loose. Half of them, so like 3 or 4 of them. But I think 3 of them have just entirely snapped. So I'm just waiting on that replacement. But if anybody is considering buying one of these, please don't. For God's sake, save yourself having your kitchen potentially destroyed if one of these jumps. It has jumped and it hasn't damaged anything, thank God. But if it would have, it's a lot of force. Oh, and also, I still can't believe how there was no damage on the top panel of this thing. Because it really went. And that was with a load of towels, nothing else. Just a large load of towels. The suspension is just ridiculous. Like, the Zanussi is better with its suspension than the Candy. And that's a 3 kilogram machine. That if I were to swap the suspension around, then the Zanussi suspension would be better than the Candy suspension if it still had the same load size. It's absolutely atrocious. Oh, and also, I had to jiggle it. So when I shut the door and it locks in place for a cycle, I press the start button and the lock light flashes. So, see? So, yeah, lock light flashes, which basically means the door's sort of processing to lock. So, I wait for about 2 seconds, as it would take for it to lock. It doesn't. So, what I have to do is open the door and close it, which I think is reasonably okay because I've had to do it with the Zanussi or Zach. But this thing, as well as me having to open and shut the door, after I've shut the door, it still will not start the program. So what I have to do is I have to jiggle the door around until it starts, after I've opened and closed the door. Also, the programming of this thing is despicable. It pumps all the water out. It does everything. But along with the crappy suspension, this thing will not spin. At all. It won't spin. And it's not that I have it on the down jackets program, which I normally put on no spin. It's when I put it onto the regular spin and put it at 1400 RPM with any load. It always doesn't spin. So I have to put it on again. Now, it's not the case of, look it up in the service directory or something like that. Look at the suspension. The suspension was non-existent from the start. The first towels load that this thing ever did was shocking. And I was actually surprised how it managed to spin. It sods locks like crazy due to the terrible programming. Oh, and also, this little fill spout, which means from the drawer that it fills down the front, if it foams up, which it does quite a bit because of its washing action, it also means that foam starts coming out of the drawer. And the most annoying that I've seen it was about halfway. So, around about here. And normally it gets up to about here before anything starts coming out of the drawer. And it wasn't the type of detergent I was using, because I use the same amount for towels every time. It was just that one specific time. But the terrible dispenser design means that there is a gap in the handle, which means that suds can flow over and come all the way down the front of the machine and destroy your flooring. As well as the amount of water or suds that can come out of the drawer, the vibration is also terrible. I've been awake a couple of times because of this piece of shit. Look, I'm 15. It was a thing that I had to do because my old service just had really bad bearings. And if I hadn't smashed that thing to pieces with a hammer, it'd probably still be working by now. I just need a new programmer. I just need a new board for it. And then it'll be fine. But this thing, if I would have actually, seen a couple of lower end reviews instead of, the high end reviews that like 99% of these washers have, then I would not have considered buying this. And I thought, yeah, extra programs was a good idea, but I just think it's just stupid. Because you got virtually nothing. Like, no actual extra programs. And if you do want to, make your own program, you can't. Because you can't make custom programs on this piece of crap. You can only choose what actual base program you want, what temperature, what spin speed, and what soil level. The advertising is completely fake. It does not give you the extra option of, give you a pre-wash, give you individual 10-degree intervals of temperature. That's a lie. And if we'd have chosen a Bianca model, it would have been slightly better in the programming, but the suspension would still be horrible. Oh, and another thing. These paddles, even though they are solid, are tiny compared to the actual size of the drum. There's like another 3 inches of goddamn drum before you actually, get to... It's like 3 inches of drum before you get to the goddamn paddle, which is atrocious. Now, my Zanussi, £100 more by the way, actually has steel paddles. It's stainless steel paddles. Even though you can't see them, it does have them. So, if Candy would have, put stainless steel paddles in their machines, as in have the drum actually shaped like Philips, like basically every single machine manufacturer back then in the early days. But this washer's 2017, I think. I haven't date coded it, and I don't think you can really date. Zanussi is the same as you can date code Miele's, as it's just impossible to do either. But this thing is horrible. Okay? Absolutely atrocious. Also, this chrome, in the places that you can't really get to, I had to take the door off. I've never actually had to take it off before, because I've got a small cloth or something in that little space there. But, for God's sake, it is a major asshole design. Oh, and a third thing, if you want to actually have a 90-degree boil wash within, 3 hours, it's not a 3-hour long boil wash. It's 1.5. You know why? Time saving. This thing loves to readjust itself to be a twat. I am not kidding. This is the worst washing machine possible. Okay? It's probably even worse than any Beko on this goddamn planet. It won't run a 90-degree wash. It runs a 70-degree wash. It doesn't run a 60-degree wash. Unless you put it on cottons, it runs a 50-degree wash. It doesn't run 40, it runs 35. It doesn't run 30, it runs 20. Doesn't run 20, it runs cold. And cold is just cold because the heater's not bloody engaged. Oh, also, it decides to adjust itself to 1000 RPM, not the full 1400, so you have to piss about with the buttons. Also, you can't select 2 buttons at once. So, if I wanted to do extra rinse and the sanitary feature, I had to start the program and then press the option button one more time to engage the sanitary feature. Also, the motor is loud, like ridiculously loud, like even louder than a Hot Point 95 series, and it is screechy. It is nightmarish. Like, I've rushed through that back door when I'm out there with vintage machines so goddamn fast because I think there's like a fire alarm going off in here at 400 RPM. Also, the pump is shit. If anybody wants to know, this thing doesn't deal with foam. It's eco ball, it's trash. Also, the main causes of people throwing out these machines is spider failure or bearings going. Nothing else really. And the main focus of expensive repairs is programming failures, because the dial, if you want to put it on a 44-minute cycle, it puts you on a 17 fucking hour long piece of shit wash. Yeah, I know, I made a big mistake. A £300 one. And I'm not an idiot. I feel like one now. I can't send this thing back. I probably need something, some sort of an excuse. Piece of shit. Oh, also, look at this. The crappiest design. You can't open the door and have the drawer open at the same time, because they decide to intermingle with each other. Also, the drawer is flimsy as hell. Like, even my ZWC isn't as flimsy as that one. Also, it's really thin with these little compartments. So they overfill and it's got a crack there, it'll go into the pre-wash. So if you overfill the fabric softening compartment, it overflows into either pre-wash or main wash or wherever it's cracked. Or it can go all the way through and drip onto your floor. Also, as well as that, this thing has a weight sensing mode, which is useless because there is no weight sensor. It doesn't exist in this model. It's nothing with suspension. It's motor resistance. It's so terrible that... Look, it's just so terrible that I couldn't have thought of a more stupid way to do it. Oh, and another thing, 1,600 watts is nowhere near 90 degrees in 1 hour. That is literally the most bogus claim I can think of. My Zanussi takes about 2 hours to do a boil wash, and it does it damn well. And I can add a pre-wash function, which I've just done with some bed linen in there. I can add a pre-wash Right, I can add a pre-wash, extra rinse. I can have it quickly, which means about 80 degrees, normal, which is about 85, or none, which is 90. I can have a time delay, 8 hours, 4 hours, and 2 hours. I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options to actually have this machine in programming. Spin speed is 1300, 900, 700, 500 RPM, no spin and rinse hold. That's all you have for your options, which is fine by me. But I don't want all the shitty bells and whistles. This temperature dial shouldn't be needed because you should have just temperatures. No, oh my god, this is for whites, this is cottons with pre-wash, this is a crappy Eco Mix 20, which will mean This thing gets infested with mildew that you can't do shit about. Cottons, which is apparently the A+ cycle, even though it doesn't seem like it. Synthetic, which I think is okay because my machine's got a synthetic side. But quick wash programs are shit because they go to 1,000 RPM no matter what. The 59 is okay by me, even though I don't use it often. The rinse is a high level, which is probably one of the only good things about this machine. Drain and spin, you have to piss about with this. And also, the delicates is a bit too long. The jeans is reasonable. Baby care is just basically modified white, so you're better off putting it on the whites. Wool is basically just delicates, and so is hand wash, just slightly modified. And because I'm so fed up with the 59 minutes, with the home machine's water usage, I've added a down jackets program. That's how far I've had to go to have this machine to wash and rinse soap out thoroughly. And I haven't had any other problems apart from this thing jumping about an inch off the floor, smashing into the work surface, almost pulling it off the wall. Also, we haven't had any more water bills than our previous service because this thing uses, an inch of water and thinks that's fucking efficient. Thank you, Candy, but no thank you. Your piece of shit £300 washer has made my life a living hell. I've had to add extra water to it as well in a litre jug every time. I've had to add probably at least 10 or 15 litres of water just to get a decent auto clean program. Nobody has any idea how I actually keep the bottom of that damn door seal perfect. And for fuck's sake, I really wish that they'd think before putting a drum lower in a washer. Think about the design consequences, Candy, you piece of shit company. Look, I don't care that you're Italian. You were good with the Formula Stainless range. But this is just ridiculous. Also, look at this. This is the cabinet. See? You see? It flexes ridiculously. Look at this. There's an Nishi's WC1301. You probably need a car to dent this thing. This guy, though, all you need is one fucking hand and push in. That's it. It's dented for good. You have to push it out from the other side and take the whole damn thing to pieces. Also, as well as that, I could have a rust problem because of this. They've decided to blend a plastic fascia, which is absolutely fine, but they've had the front panel stick out further than the fascia. There should be sort of a little overhang or something. But actually, yeah, I just forget that. But this thing is so badly sealed, as in everything can get out through the drawer, foam and water, that actually I've just decided instead to actually think of asking my parents if I can bring in one of my vintage machines to actually have a nice thing in here for once. Look, I really miss my Service 8kg. I wish I should have changed. I wish I could have actually, got some professional tools previously and swapped out the bearings. But no. I didn't have professional tools back then. I probably still can't do it now because it's thread locked in place and everything is just, I can't do it. But this piece of trash is so terrible. Also, actually, I'm only opening this door one last time. Crap gets all around here. Condensation, dirt from everything, it doesn't wash off. It washes off on this side, but not on its own opposite side. So I've had to get cloths and God knows what else and scrub all the way around this thing like twice a day. The paddles, as well as them being small, are virtually impossible to remove without shattering them, which I'm not going to do because a friend actually advised me from his Candy Grande Vita 9 kilogram. Basically this machine, but a kilogram smaller. Okay. Plastic door latches. They're even worse. They crack, especially on these. My Zanussi, though, has got none of those problems, as it's actually lines up. Whereas this Candy, its door sags. Its door sags, so it lifts itself upwards via that door latch. Metal actual door catches are absolutely perfect, but the plastic piece of shit handles and springs are obviously going to snap. As well as that, I don't feel like this door seal is a good enough design because I get white spots of limescale everywhere, and I have to add extra water to every cycle, nearly, that I do to clean when I clean this machine out. Also, as well as that, this thing, Candy have decided, instead of reading my little review on Google Play about their terrible app, they decided to ask me, even though I clearly specified that the app was just terrible, that I couldn't create any custom programs whatsoever, that they actually requested, "Dear customer, we apologise that we have no idea basically what you're talking about." Clearly specified. As well as it being clearly specified that I hate their app, they just posted an update which makes it even worse. I've stopped using it. And at the same time, A++ ratings are nowhere near good. People think they're good enough for the water bills, but they're just not. The machines basically break more often. You know what? I advise not to get any kind of new Candy. And if you do have a new Candy, consider what you are doing. Consider your actual goddamn mental state before you actually, consider spending £280, anywhere from £280 to £470 on one of these. Look, I like chrome. I like everything about this machine. Cosmetically, it is beautiful. But the one thing I hate is touch buttons. I can't get around them. I like mechanical ones. As well as that, this thing has gone AWOL. As I said, it jumped a whole inch into the air and smacked into this cabinet, and smacked into this work surface, and almost went into my Zanussi, which is second hand. If this thing would have exploded, then the first thing that would have shot anywhere would be God knows what is inside of it upwards, which would probably rip my sink out and flip everything up into the air, possibly so high enough to destroy this cupboard. And then, if it has any excess energy, it could go sideways and smash into my Zanussi. And if it smashes into my Zanussi, which is second hand, it is damage that actually I don't think anybody could pay for apart from me. So, very expensive machine, reasonably rare parts, and also if this thing goes AWOL, goes entirely insane, and I'm standing in here, what is going to happen to me if 30 kilograms of concrete flies up, chips this, and goes towards me? Goes this way, straight at me. What's going to happen? It's going to smack into me. I have never dropped concrete blocks. I once dropped a brick on my foot, which was pretty hilarious, but that hurt like a son of a bitch. But 30 kilograms of concrete, probably travelling about 40 miles an hour, smacking me straight in the face, I got no time to fucking react. And you know why? The welding structure of this drum. There's been reports of these exploding. I know they're from a while ago, but I still don't trust this thing. Oh, also, it's not even thick at the back. It's hollow as hell. It's like, it's really hollow. There's next to no drum spider. Honestly, I kind of feel like it's like a centimeter wide cylinder of, I don't know, aluminium or something, which goes to a little thing which is like that thick and goes straight out to the motor. It is the dumbest, most ridiculous, most time-wasting, resource-wasting, money-wasting piece of crap design I could possibly think of. Look, I'm actually amazed that I decided to buy one of these. As well as that, there's a review of the ZWC 1301 coming up. Thank you for a viewer that requested that. I've forgotten your YouTube channel name. I apologise, but I'll probably name the video after you. Okay, so basically, I'll say it for the last time. Anybody considering buying one of these, check in with somebody about your levels of mentality before you buy one of these. Jokingly, obviously, I'm joking. But seriously, go into a showroom and run yourself a nice little suspension test. Pull it back and forth, pull the drum back and forth, and if it's really easy, don't buy it. And do not buy them online. I consider going into a showroom. A Curry showroom or your local appliance showroom. Just whatever. Just look at a machine before you buy it. Please. Do not buy a machine online. That is the only logical thing. It's almost like clothes. Like people... people have actually been sort of scammed a little bit by clothes because they've unpackaged a really small package to find it's literally Barbie clothes and they haven't known. That's why you go and try them on, in like a clothing shop. It's nearly the same with one of these. So the idea is, if you're buying a new machine, don't buy a candy and go to a goddamn showroom. Thank you and goodbye. This is X Washing Central, aka Laundry 112. This is Matthew Jones. I'm revealing my name. This is Matthew Jones. Okay? From Laundry 112. As a virtual consumer report. Do not buy these.